Y'all, okay, I need to talk about this series. This fictional man named Jonasi Gomora, because Netflix dropped The Polygamist on June 12th, and I have been unwell ever since, okay? Before we get into it, I need to say one thing that doesn't really have anything to do with the plot. Everybody on this show is thicker than cold grits, okay? I had to say it, all right, including the men, especially Jonas, all right? So stay tuned. We're going to talk about all of it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Indescribable, aka Geraldine Lake, and I done went down this rabbit hole, y'all, so now I'm about to drag y'all down it with me. Let's talk about this man, okay? Jonasi Gomora. My God, on today. He was not corrupted by money. He was not broken by success. He didn't change overnight after he made it to the big leagues. That man was trash from the very beginning, y'all, and the money just gave him more power to spread it and himself all around. He basically grew up dirt poor. His childhood girlfriend, Essie, believed in him so much that she gave him her last dime to go to college. Yeah, she funded him. She said, go get your education, baby, because I'm going to be right here when you get back. And what did Jonas do? He got around educated people with a little money, met Joyce, and decided that Essie was no longer part of the vision. But here's where it gets evil, okay? He didn't just leave her. He secretly married her on the side while being fully married to Joyce for decades, okay? He kept Essie tucked away in a hidden arrangement, propped up by a sham of a marriage to his own brother, Magesh, so she would stay quiet and available. Now, that's not a man who got lost, okay? That's a man who made a plan and then had the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall, okay, to tell himself he was a good man with a big heart because he just loved so much, like loving multiple women. It's not a crime. Sir, you did not love those women. You collected them like Pokemon, okay? Infinity Stones, right? There's a difference, okay? Now, can we talk about Magesh for a second? Because I need somebody to explain to me why he's Jonas's brother, also Essie's fake husband, and covering for Jonas's secret second marriage. He's also the man whose ex-girlfriend, Matipa, eventually ends up with Jonas. So just to recap, because I know it's a lot, Magesh lost his ex to his brother, then pretended to be married to his brother's secret wife, and just kept going to work every day. I don't know what Magesh is getting out of this arrangement. They never quite explained it, but what does Jonas have on this man? Because I need the receipts. No amount of brotherly love or money explains what Magesh put himself through for 20 years. He became Jonas's fixer, his cover story, his cleanup crew, his emotional punching bag, and every time he tried to push back, Jonas just reminded him of everything that he provided for him financially. So Magesh folded. And that dynamic bothered me probably more than anything Jonas did directly, because Jonas is who he is, but Magesh knew better. And he kept choosing comfort over integrity. And that's a different kind of like disappointment. Now let's talk about Joyce and this fake life, okay? She's the character I felt like was the most complicated. But that's a compliment because the writing and the actress who played her, she made me feel everything, okay? Joyce is a social media influencer, can relate, but she out here selling the perfect life, the perfect marriage, the perfect family to her followers, and I sat there watching her perform happiness for the camera while her entire world was on fire behind the scenes, and I felt that in a place that I don't like to feel things, okay? Because Joyce, she ain't stupid, all right? She knows. She has known, but she has so much of her identity wrapped up in Jonas and being his wife, being the CEO's partner, and being the woman who built this empire alongside him, that leaving him felt like losing herself entirely. And I get it. I don't like it, but I get it, you know? But what I couldn't get behind was how everybody in the house, everybody in the company, everybody in the family was constantly managing Jonas's comfort, his ego, his schedule, his birthday. This man expected 3 women to celebrate his birthday. It was genuinely shocked when they showed up with just resentment and a little piece of cake. Okay, the delusion is Olympic level. All right, now I got 2 personal grievances that are completely separate from the emotional damage that I was caused by this show. One is who's in charge of the wigs. Who's in charge of the wigs? Because some of the units were fighting the actresses and the actresses were not fighting back, okay? They were straight up losing. Now, Netflix, y'all got the budget. Please allocate some of it to the hair department, okay? I'm trying to process trauma and grief, and the lace front is tilting, okay? I can't focus, all right? And this is a formal complaint. Number 2, that doctor up at that hospital out here sharing everybody's medical business. Fire him immediately, okay? Fire him immediately. Taking bribes? The whole 9. In America, that man should have at least lost his license, his house, his parking spot, his family, whatever he had going on, he should have lost it. He couldn't wait to come in that room and tell them how the Gomora women had kept that nursery ward busy. Why would you even say that? Just goofy. But anyway, I need to be very clear about something that the show kind of glosses over a little bit, but I want to make sure I mention it, okay? Jonas slept with Lindani. That's his daughter's best friend. Now, I don't think they ever directly told us her age, but she was a young woman who came into their home as a guest under Joyce's own roof. And what made it worse is that Menzie, Jonas's own son, had feelings for Lindani first. He told his father about her, and Jonas, knowing that, pursued her anyway. That's not a man who got carried away by love, y'all. That's a man who does not see other people as real. His son's feelings were not even a speed bump or a second thought. His wife's home wasn't even a boundary for him. Everybody and everything in Jonas's world exists to serve Jonas. And that's the storyline. That's the entire show. Now, Lindani also ends up pregnant by Jonas and has a miscarriage. And when everything finally comes out, Jonas doesn't respond with remorse like a normal human being. He starts beating people up. Because in his mind, the problem is not what he did. The problem is that the people found out and are either holding him accountable or choosing to cut him off completely. Now, the first side chick we're introduced to, Matipa, I just want to say that baby girl just knew that the wife was an old hag. She was bitter and jealous. He was really searching for a younger, hotter, sexier version of someone to spend his life with. And that's a common mistake that a lot of young women make. They think that these older men are truly interested in them. Baby, what does a man 20 years older than you have in common with you? Why? Just sit and think. Why do you really think that he is seeking you out? 10 times out of 10, it's because you have less baggage, probably baggage that he created for some other woman. You probably don't have kids. You might be a little less firm on your boundaries. You probably don't know the game yet. And I think that Jonas was counting on her being just a little slow, which she was, because girl, running around the town, flaunting your affair in everybody's faces, like, do you know what a side chick is? She's on the side, sis. You're supposed to be a secret. And everything was fine until it wasn't. Baby Matipa had got beside herself and decided that she wanted to be known as a little more than just a side chick. But she came in, disrupted an entire family, had children, and then when things stopped being profitable, she left. She left them babies with Joyce, the wife whose marriage she helped to destroy. And Joyce, because Joyce is built a little bit different, as we learn, even when she shouldn't be, she took those kids in, and that moment told me everything that I needed to know about both of them. Matipa came for a lifestyle, and when the lifestyle got complicated, she exited. Joyce stayed because she genuinely could not separate her love from her pain. And by that point, they were the same thing. I mean, I was not rooting for Matipa, but I was also not shocked, okay? This show does something really intentional where none of the women are purely innocent, but all of them are completely understandable because we understand that the real villain is never in question. Okay, now spoiler alerts are fully happening right now, so go watch first and then come back, okay? Jonas ends up alone. Duh. Completely alone. He fires Magesh. He alienates his kids. He burns every bridge he has ever stood on. And then he ends up living with Lindani in the old home that he once shared with Matipa. He's sick, deteriorating, and completely dependent on a woman who has run out of love for him. And Lindani let him rot. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that I understand, okay? Every single second of it. This man took her youth, her friend group, her reputation, her family relationships, not to mention passing STDs around like ping pong. Okay, then expected her to nurse him back to health. She said absolutely not, okay? And she was not wrong. But this is the part that broke me, y'all. The thing that Joyce never saw coming was her own son, Menzie, slowly becoming just like his father. And the final episodes show Menzie sleeping with Lindani, the same woman that Jonas was with for years. And Joyce, who fought so hard, who sacrificed so much, who won against Jonas, had no idea her son was already down the same path. She defeated the man, but not the pattern. And that is what this show is actually about. Not polygamy, not revenge, not even Jonas' waterhead ass, okay? It's about what happens when a cycle goes unaddressed, when children watch and absorb and they learn to replicate. I wasn't ready for the ending, and I've been thinking about it ever since, but, okay, lessons got to be learned, okay? Jonasi Gomora is a fictional character, and I'm genuinely annoyed with him. That's the power of this show. The writing made me feel something real about someone who does not even exist. And that doesn't happen by accident because, unfortunately, we all know somebody just like Jonas, okay? Now, The Polygamist is on Netflix right now. 22 episodes, about 26 to 30 minutes each. Binge it this weekend and come back here, okay? Because I need to talk about this with somebody who's just as messy as me, okay? Drop it in the comments whether you Team Joyce, Team Lindani, or Team Essie was the real villain because she could have stopped all of this 20 years ago, all right? Everybody was just raggedy as hell. Anyway, like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And say it with me one time, y'all. Jonas, you gotta what? That's right. You gotta go to hell. All right. Catch me in the next video, y'all. Peace.